I'm going to do today is give you a tour of my, what I call my dedicated wash bay that's now complete. There will always be things that I'll be adding and adjusting and doing out here to improve it. For now, I'm calling this a completed project. I did the final organization of the drawers, which is a 4 or 5 or 6 time process for me. Like I said, there will continue to be tweaks. For instance, I'll be doing a security system out here that's going to be incredible. So stay tuned for that. And I have a few tweaks to do on the internet connectivity. I'm doing a Ubiquity bridge to the main house, so that will make a few adjustments. Then I'll probably add a Comcast cable out here as well, which I haven't added yet. And then, last thing I'll do is just a few touch-ups on the walls, and I want to do a big picture of my car on the wall as well. But those are just little minor adjustments that I'll do over time to just sort of add, just to keep me from getting too bored. So I'm going to take you through step by step all the stuff that's in here in case you're interested. If you've watched the build process, you probably know most of this. But I'm going to take you through, again, step by step, all the stuff that I did, the thought process, why I did it, why I chose it, whether it's working for me or not, and what adjustments I may have made, knowing what I know now. So I'm going to take you through that one step at a time. So first thing, let's talk about, which would have been the first thing we put in here other than the paint on the walls, is the flooring. This is a flooring system called Swisstrax flooring. If you haven't followed me before, you wouldn't have. If you haven't followed me, then you wouldn't know that I'm such a huge fan of this flooring. Lots and lots and lots of questions about this. I think people, for whatever reason, they don't want to like it. I didn't want to like it, so I think I understand that. I'm not a huge fan of plastic tile or plastic flooring. It seems like such a band-aid to me. But this is very different. I stumbled upon this because I had epoxy in my previous garage. Turned out to be a mess. It was going to cost too much to have it removed. And so I put this on as a band-aid. These here are something called rubber tracks, which is a recycled rubber tires, which has a little bit more give to it. And then we have rib tracks over here, which is the polypropylene, the full plastic stuff. I don't know if you can tell from the angle in the camera, I can't pull a car in here. The door is too narrow, it's only 10 feet wide. It's only about 13 feet deep. So this is just specifically dedicated to be a shrine to my car washing stuff. I don't have a garage yet. Again, if you're watching this for the first time, I'm going to be building a garage at some point in the not too distant future. But the flooring is, I think, really keeps the area clean. There's so many bugs. I'm out here in the middle of the woods. There's so many bugs and debris and leaves. One real advantage is the leaves get trapped in the front section of the wash bay. I still haven't wiped this down. I should probably get a mop and mop this down from the original construction. It's been 3 or 4 months since I finished it, so there's a little bit of a haze on the black that once you wipe it off, you really don't have to do it again. Most of it's drywall dust. But it still looks very clean, very neat, very organized. Dirt falls in. There's dead bugs under here like crazy. You can't really see them. That's the point. So I get a lot of questions about, well, what about dirt? Well, the dirt falls underneath it, and then once in a while, I'll either leaf blow just the little bit of, the little bit in front here, or I will vacuum it with a shop vac, and it sucks it right out the holes. If water gets in here, there's channels under it, so if it's tons of water, it'll run out. If there's just a little bit of water, it'll sit there and it'll evaporate up through the tile. If I needed to remove a tile, I just grab a screwdriver and just pop it up. It comes up in 2 seconds. So if I had some oil or something like that on it. Jacks roll across it. The rubber isn't as good for, you can't drive your car on the rubber, but it's great for here. For my purposes, because I spend a lot of time standing in here. And so you'll notice this black section here is rubber tracks where, I'm standing here at the workbench and I'll be, using or standing on the rubber tracks because it's significantly softer and just sort of anti-stress on your feet. So that makes a big difference. All the tile is interlocking, snaps in place. I could take it out of here if I wanted to, but it's really is great stuff. And gives you kind of there's an optical illusion of trippiness to the camera as you see it with the with the lighting and stuff. But it's really great to keep the wash bay looking ultra clean at all times. I didn't do any special cleaning to it or vacuuming to it at all. If you could really, even if you stand on top of it and look into it, like notice right here, I just smashed a cockroach because again we're in the woods. Notice the guts of it there, and it's even hard to see. And there are, again, there are probably millions of dead bugs under here, and then just dirt and wire strippings and all kinds of stuff that really you can't see, which I really, really like. That's why I'm a huge fan of Swisstrax, even though I wasn't a fan of flooring like it before I discovered it in my previous garage. So next thing to talk about, I guess, would be the cabinets, sort of the most prominent feature in the room. These cabinets are from a company called Saber. And Saber cabinets, I think they do everything right and nothing that they don't need to do, and to keep the cost under control. I mean, I had this dream of having Lista cabinets ever since I discovered Richard Griot back in the early 2000s. And he had Lista cabinets in his garage. I didn't want them red, but I wanted Lista cabinets, and Lista cabinets are, a cabinet like this would cost like $1,000, and instead, you're going to buy it from Saber for roughly $200. The gauge of steel is not as thick, but it's powder coated steel. If I could do it all over again, I probably wouldn't do black. Black shows everything. It's just like a black car. You can see everything. It looks great in the lighting on the camera. In person, it looks good too. But if you were to open up the cabinets, which I'll show you inside all the cabinets, you can see fingerprints or dust or whatever dead bug or whatever was in there. You can see that as in the in the black area. And so the top cabinets are simple two shelf setup, and the top cabinets have like I say, a single shelf, and then of course the base. They tend to do really well at holding things like bottles like this, or whatever you want. I think they're about 12 inches deep, and they're mounted. I mounted them right to the studs. So I set up the studs in here so I wouldn't have to worry about. I put blocks and stringers in the wall so it was easy to hit the stud, because I measured this pretty tightly so that I could mount the TV, properly in the center. And I knew I was going to do my 65-inch Panasonic because it wouldn't fit in my living room. So we have the two top cabinets. Well, while we're going through this, I might as well show you the inside of the other. I just kind of organize and move stuff around and try to find the most efficient setup. I keep all my fasteners and things like that in here. The intent here in this garage, or this wash bay, was not to keep all this stuff. It's to house all my car washing stuff. So once I do build the main garage, I'm going to have lots and lots of space. But for now, I have everything I own jammed in this thing. And so even though I've thrown away a lot of stuff that I didn't think I needed, just to clean things up and keep it as clean as possible. So on the left and right, we have the large closets or large cabinets, tall storage cabinets, or wide storage cabinets, Saber calls them. These cabinets are, there normally is a locking mechanism. I need to make an adjustment to this door, but they hold lots of stuff, and tend to do really well at getting the big stuff out of the way. Show you my current thought process on organization. I have all my Milwaukee tools, and I have a power outlet. For those of you who watched the install, I jacked up the inside of this cabinet by cutting holes in the wrong spot. But I keep my jacks. Notice also I put some Swisstrax flooring in the base of the cabinets as well, in order to keep from scratching. I guess you could put it on each shelf if you really wanted to. I didn't find that necessary. Maybe I should, to help with all the cleanliness of the cabinets and how they look. But these shelves are adjustable, and you can set them up however you want. I forget what the cost of these were. The whole cabinet array, shipped was about $4,000, retail. And so moving on, you have the base cabinets. Base cabinets are roughly 30 inches wide. They're what, 29.4 something. I decided to do traditional base cabinets. If I was going to, again, if this was going to be my tool storage permanently, I would have done significantly more of these, the drawered cabinets. In my previous garage, I did 4 drawer and 6 drawer. I had 4 6 drawers and 2 4 drawers. Here I decided to opt for the traditional base cabinets, and opt for the 4 drawers because I'll be putting my polishers and things like that in these drawers when or I guess the polishers will only go in the main garage. So these will again be more of just a general storage solution rather than tools. So I jammed all of my tools into these drawers. This here is called Kaizen foam, which I just transferred it from my other garage. It used to look really nice, really clean. And then I moved in here and just kind of threw stuff in. I guess this is my version of throwing stuff in, which I'm still pretty anal about that. But notice how cool it looks when you do a Kaizen foam setup and you cut it out. We can have another discussion about this, but basically you get the foam and you cut out little sections so you can store all of your tools, in order, and keep some order, some organization where you think things should belong. It's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of follow-up and maintenance to keep it looking like that. But it does look really, really great when you do it and you spend the effort and time doing it. And since I'm showing you all the drawers, I'm going to show you the rest of them. And then these last 2 aren't nearly as cleanly as the others. I'm just going through all my stuff in here. And then the final drawer is here. But these drawers are great. They're not as nice as listed, but much, much nicer than many of the other competitors like New Age and some of the other cabinet choices. The thing that bothers some people on these is the shipping. Saber Cabinets tends to charge you, whatever it costs, and so that he keeps thin margins, and then, charges you what it costs to freight it to your house, and so, expect $1,000 to ship. So, like I said, this is probably, I think it was slightly above $4,000 for everything for the cabinets, which I think is a great price in comparison to Lister or Moduline, where you would spend 4 to 5 times that. These are roughly 80 inches tall. I prefer to, instead of floating these, I prefer to mount these on the ground. I kind of like the discrepancy or the difference here. You could mount them so that they were all perfectly square and symmetrical. I like the setup like this. Again, my Swisstrax flooring on the base, and then we have multiple drawers, microfiber towels. So what I have in here is I have an old Monster HTS 5000 power conditioner. I have a dedicated 150 amp service that I brought out here that powers this area. I have a dedicated 20 amp for the lights in here, dedicated 20 amp for the lights out there, dedicated 20 amp for this and the TV, and then a separate dedicated 20 amp for the power around the perimeter. I figured, why not go overkill? And then I have the 220 volt going to the pressure washer, which we'll talk about in a minute. So I have an old Yamaha RXV 800 that I'm running 3.1, 3-channel. I guess it's not really surround, but 3-channel audio. I have Apple TV. I'm gonna bring I'm gonna get a cable box out here as well. So when I watch football and stuff like I did in the previous garage, I'll have that. And then the audio that I have in here is Dyne Audio Excite X14s, these are X12s. And then I have an X23, I think it's an X23 center. So the matching center. Actually, this is the newer center and the older fronts. I bought them all on like Audio Gone, use secondhand. Figure it's the garage, but they're incredible little speakers. Soak dome tweeter, 6.5 inch woofer, and just really, really great sound. Actually, I don't think it's a 6.5. I think it's a 5. Yeah, I think it's a 5. It sounds great out here. And then I have a JL E112 and E sub So really, really great audio for, and I do listen to a lot of, this is where I do most of my music listening out here while I'm washing cars or detailing or doing something. So that's the audio setup. And to complete the cabinet, so I pre-wired all of this stuff before I put the walls up, because I'd pulled this down from, it was plywood in here, and I'll post a picture up so you can see it right here. And then the countertops come from Saber cabinets as well, relatively inexpensive. They're 1 inch, I think a 1.5 inch stainless steel countertops. I think they're 2. I guess I could grab a tape measure. But their countertops look great. Stainless is always tough because it looks fantastic when it's clean, but it's such a lot of work. But it matches nicely. All the handles are aluminum. The hardware is aluminum on the cabinets that comes with them. And so the stainless countertops, he doesn't sell them in a big long section, so you just have to buy them, either a 2-section or 3-section that covers 3 base cabinets or 2 base cabinets. So I set up symmetrically like this. I didn't have enough room to fit another cabinet, or else I would have. And then to complete the audio video, which I haven't done a whole lot of watching because I had to have cable brought out here and installed. But I have a Panasonic 65-inch GT350 plasma, which is a fantastic display. Way too big for out here, but looks cool nonetheless. I had it, and it wouldn't fit in my living room, it wouldn't fit into my wall unit, so I needed to use it out here. You figure, why not? And we have Air King. These are the quiet version, 24-inch quiet version. I think they're 9949, I think, or something like that is the model number. These are great fans. They are pretty noisy, but they're oscillating. So I have them set to on a switch that we wired in. And so in the winter I don't use them, but in the summer you can't live without them. It's really important to have these out here. They really move a ton of air. If you can almost, I guess I could grab a sheet of paper and show you. They're noisy, but they get the job done, and it's nice to have them on a switch so that I don't have to mess with it, turning it off and on. The center channel is mounted on a stainless steel supply. This is a very expensive floating stainless shelf. I think it was like $330 for that shelf. I wanted to do floating shelves for everything, but it was just too expensive. So that's the only thing that I may have done differently is mounted the center channel in a little different spot, maybe below the TV. The center channel is a little high, a lot high, but I didn't think through that clearly. I wanted to keep it out of the way. I didn't want it, below the TV, even though it would have sounded much better, because it would have gotten in the way of doing any kind of work on the bench. So let's continue the tour here. I added windows to this. The windows weren't as a part of the deal, and boy, am I glad I did. If I didn't do that, it would have been a nightmare in here. It would have been so hot and so dark, and just wouldn't have looked as good. And so I added stainless steel supply shelves. I wasn't going to do this many, but I figure it might be a while before I build my garage. And so these are 30-inch by 8-inch stainless steel shelves. They're about 75, 80 bucks a piece, so they are really expensive, but I wanted stainless to sort of complete the theme of stainless, including the stainless pressure washer, which we'll get to here in a second. And then you can see the shelving over here as well. My good friend Larry Cosilla from Ammo NYC sent me a mount, which I'm going to get some more of, to mount all my Rupus polishers out here. And then just because I love looking at these two, even though I don't really use them anymore because I have an integrated pressure washer, my Cransville 1122 TST, and then my DIW 20, or DIC 20, I think it's called DIC 20. CR cart model. Yeah, it is DIC 20 cart model deionizer. I did all the baseboards. The baseboards look great, probably on camera. They looked fantastic when I was doing them. I was doing them before the electric was out here and installed, so I'd like to go and fill some of the putty and come and put another coat of paint on them. I'm probably going to do a coat of paint on this whole thing now that it's done. I have to, fix this trim piece, but I did all the trim myself. I had a friend do the drywall and a company do the electrical and plumbing, but I did everything else, all the install, the cabinets and everything, which, seems easy, but it's a pretty significant project. If you haven't seen those videos, there's hours and hours and hours of footage to look at. Here's my pride and joy. I'm so excited about how this came out. This is a Kranzel K165 STS. Really, really expensive. I'm now selling these. In case you ever want to buy one, call me. I seem to be the expert on these. Because when I wanted to buy it, there wasn't even a picture of where the water comes in and goes out. I need to fix this here. They cut the hole a little big for the water line, so the water line goes up through out to the boom pole, which I'll show you in a second. So Kranzel pressure washer, wall mounted. Instant on, just turn it on whenever I want. And then I wanted a system to where the water is plumbed, so water comes out. I have a choice between deionized water or tap water. So when I'm washing cars, I like to use tap. When I'm rinsing, I prefer to use a deionized system or use deionized water. This is the DIW20 from CR Spotless, which I also sell. I sell all these things. I'll be selling probably everything in here at some point. I have a really good relationship with both Saber and Swisstrax, so hit me up if you want me to make a connection to those guys. I don't have a connection with Air King fans. I should probably call them at some point because I've suggested them to a lot of people. But this system has been my dream. I think it looks fantastic. I really wanted to do stainless piping. It was just too much money. It was $2,000–3,000 to do it. And so it cost me $500 to have my plumber do this really, really nice looking job on the copper piping. I think it looks incredible. This is what sort of the dream or something I've been envisioning for a long time, ever since getting a pressure washer and even before. And of course the switches here. I'd like to add another switch because the lighting is a little brutal in here. I've gotten used to it, but I have 4 AEI, which are junk, by the way, don't do them. Hit me up and I can make some suggestions, but I'm not a fan of LED for lighting. I prefer fluorescent, and I prefer these bulbs. They're called Verilux. Verilux bulbs are 6,500 degrees or 6,500 Kelvin, or emulate what 6,500 Kelvin would look like. So it's very daylight-ish, very blue. And which it does really, really well for video and does really, really well for doing any kind of detailing or anything like that. But I have 4 8-bulb fixtures, so 32 bulbs in here, which is probably about 16 too many. But I erred on the side of too much light, so I'd like to add another switch. I will add another switch in order to dial that back a little bit whenever I need to. And so there's the completed wash bay. I do have an Apple Airport Express, which I'll be getting rid of here because I'm going to be doing a Ubiquiti access point and really getting the internet connectivity dialed out here. It's just not working very well all the way from the house, from the main house. So that's the interior room. Really couldn't have come out any better than what I had envisioned when I decided this was going to be my dedicated wash bay. I had lots and lots of visions of doing, turning this into a garage. I decided to leave it open and just turn this room into what it is. So let's go take a look outside. So this house, the bones of this house, the look of this house, the setup of the house, the way it's everything, the property is what we bought it. The style of the outside, the color is not really our style. I'm the only goofball in the world that would invest in having his wash bay set up, and I hadn't changed a light bulb in the house yet. And that's probably what's going to postpone my garage build, is doing the house for Michelle. I've spent so much time out here and my home theater, which I'll probably do a demo here this afternoon as well and put that video up separately. But the exterior, this pole barn has roughly 11.5-foot ceilings. It's 40 feet deep. So this is roughly 27 feet for this wash section. Another 13 feet here. We have the lean-to over on the side. I'm going to take you through all of that. But this, to me, it seemed like a great place to build, just to hang out, just a wash bay, a place to come and wash my cars in a covered area. I can wash them at night, wash them during the day. I wanted incredible lighting, and I wanted to be able to come out here whenever I wanted to. Of course, the risk is there's lots of bugs and rodents and things like that, and maybe I should show you that before it gets too dark. But we're kind of in the middle of the woods here. So there's the main house. Raptor's in the way. Just pulled it out. My GT3 is at the shop because mice chewed through my harness. It's making me second guess this whole thing. But notice, I mean, we're pretty much in the middle of the woods right here, which is really, really nice, other than the leaves and all the debris and stuff that comes with it. So I don't have a Macan. This is just the the courtesy vehicle they gave me to drive around. And so this area here, they had added on to this thing over the years, and the reason why they did such tall ceilings was because of the RV that they had. So I redid all the lighting. We'll paint this at some point. Notice my boom pole. We'll talk about here in a second. But this is really the dream, man. It's so cool. I can't explain to you how excited I am to have this. There was some rot on some of the pillars that my dad and I had to tear apart and redo. Those two pillars over there. I scoured the earth for a hose bib that was acceptable. The only hose bibs I could find that were acceptable to me were the frost preventing kind. And this company from Pre-A kept coming up, and so I probably spent 6 or 8 hours of research to find these suckers. But I wanted something that was solid. Hose bibs tend to break loose, and they just never do. They never do well for long. And I came up with this idea. I hadn't never seen this anywhere, but I didn't want to get the hose out every time. And so we have what I call a bucket filler, where I have a quick disconnect. There's a little water in there. Quick disconnect that allows me to take and remove the hose whenever I want. There's a lot of water in there. Normally I would drain it, but apparently I didn't do that for the video here. But I have a quick disconnect, and then I set this at height, and I stressed about the height of this for a long time to get that set up the way I wanted to. Eventually I had to just drill the hole and put the thing and mount the thing. And I did this myself. It looks like a homemade job, but it really is great. These are quarter turn anti-siphon hose bibs, so they're great. With a water heater hose, I almost said hot water heater hose, which I get in trouble for all the time. A water heater hose, and then I can fill my buckets very, very easily. Make that simple, clean, and neat, and not have to think about it. Just do it quickly. And then I have my main hose, which I really don't use as much anymore now that I have the bucket filler over here. This is a Ely, very high quality hose with a Goodyear Swisstrax hose. I just have some extra stuff. Notice I have stuff hanging on it because I don't use it as much anymore, or I don't use it very often any longer. But this hose has a drag. It allows you to either turn the drag on or turn it off so that it doesn't unwind. But man, the thing is awesome. I'm probably going to start selling this as a package. I talked to them. They're still, I guess, maybe hopefully watching videos to decide whether or not I'm worthy of being a representative. There's another Pre-A hose bib, which again, if you need a hose bib or if you have a crappy hose bib, these are the ones, man. They're awesome. Really awesome. You get them on Amazon. There's a link on obsessedgarage.com if you want to check it out. Since we're over here, obviously I have my trailer, my Trail X trailer, which is something I wanted to keep this thing covered. And so I have this under the lean-to, which does a pretty decent job. And then of course I did my Verilux bulbs and lighting throughout. And I went with Howard lighting. I know the camera's not doing so well with these because they're so bright, but these are the same Verilux bulbs. These are 6 bulb fixtures, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them over on the 3 more on the lean-to, and they do great. And so I have the switches are here, which switches for the walkway lighting, which were already existing. By the way, I did put in this sidewalk as well because this is where we come in and out of the wash bay. So I had that put in, and since we're running out of daylight, I have another Prie hose bib over here in case I needed something. There's my 150 amp service coming in, and then I had to put gutters in because the water was coming here, hitting the sidewalk, and then hitting my new construction on my pillars that I had to cut because they were rotted from water hitting it, because there was a sprinkler head over here. And you can see the green algae that I, at some point here, one of the steps I'll be making is, I'm going to put drains in here, some like pull drains that drain the water out, and then I'm going to refinish the concrete, have it sanded down, and get rid of the battery acid and stuff that's out here. And then I had these rocks put in all around the perimeter to make sure I could keep the water under control. And so I've got my my wand, which is all quick connected, and so this setup is, so I'll leave the safety on at all times. And so this setup is where I'm able to go and wash the car, and do instant on, just because the pressure washer's over there. I have it running up through the pole barn and into the Mosmatic boom pole. I'm probably going to transition to Mosmatic, but I'm testing all of this stuff to see which system works the best. We have a Mosmatic swivel and then a 19-foot or 18-foot hose that goes up to the Mosmatic boom pole. And so the general idea here is just like a car wash. I'm able to, let me back this up here. If you haven't watched any of my videos, and you're just interested in building your own dedicated wash bay, the dream here is that I can grab this thing and walk around the car and do whatever I need to do, without having to get anything out. I played with the length of the hose to make sure I could cover whatever area I want, and I'm not going to turn the pressure washer on because it does make some noise, but this is the setup that I think car wash guys, detail guys' dreams are made of. And so Mosmatic wand, which is a piece of art, mounted to the the braces of the ceiling, and I just painted over it. So I did all this myself. Clearly, certainly the the construction could have been cleaner, but it's it looks very good. I'm going to mount, most likely I just got a shop vac professional, so I'm probably going to mount that to the wall out here as well and do something with that. We'll see what that looks like here, at some point in the not too distant future. Anyway, this is my dream wash bay. I still have room to park a car here. This is where I'm going to be putting a, because of the rodent problem in the winter, I'm going to be putting a car capsule showcase here in front of the trailer, my Trail-X trailer, in order to keep the rodents out of my car when I park it for extended periods of time. And then I'll park my cars under here until I get my garage done. We also have the porte-cochere over there. So, as you can see, like I said, we're in the woods, which has its pros and cons. So that's the completed wash bay. If you've been following this process, thanks for being a part of it. If you're just checking it out now, feel free to shoot me an email at matt.mormon@gmail.com. Check out obsessgarage.com. Obviously, you're checking out my YouTube channel now. Check me on Instagram, Obsessed Garage. I'm on Twitter. And then my real business is Obsessed Wealth Management. So Obsessed Wealth will be live here shortly, in probably the next 3 months or so. Anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned for more crazy. Because what happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor.